Books with intent create impact. Books without it wander. Welcome back to Author Odyssey, the planning realm. I'm Melody Ann, your guide. Last week, I showed you the quest board. Today, we are stepping fully into the first quest so you can experience what it's like to work within the planning realm. This is quest one, treasure map of intent. Like every quest, it follows a structure. We start with the what and the why. We introduce the bad guys. We give you your action steps. We offer power-ups and allies, and we wrap it up with rewards. So let's unwrap it. And the what and the why. The treasure map of intent exists for one simple reason. Without goals, your book will wander. Without goals, your book will likely show up on some virtual shelf with no other books, or on a virtual shelf with all the other books that no one buys. So sometimes we have a book within us that we just need to get out, and I get that. So we embark on this journey, getting those words onto a page. And so when I often ask authors who come to me, they just say, I get this often, I just have to write it. And my next question about the book is about how the book will serve them. So this is often how that conversation goes. The author says to me, oh no, I just need to write it. And I say, does that mean you will write it and not publish it? And the author says, oh no, I do want to publish it. And I say, great. And if no one reads it, would that be okay? You just need to publish it? Well, I'd like someone to read it. I mean, it could help people. So you don't just want to write and publish it. You want more. Yeah, I guess so. But here it is. The idea of people buying your book scares you. That's what it often comes down to with a lot of the authors I work with. This leads authors, especially first-time authors, to throw the goals out the window, to not think about, what success might look like. They're afraid of failure. They're afraid of success, so they rarely set goals. They just want to get the book out there. Can you relate to this? Problem is, this leads to disappointment. My book isn't selling. I wrote the wrong book. Writing a book isn't worth it. I get authors coming and saying things like this to me all the time. And I often can trace it back to, they just wrote words on page, published it, and out it went. But it wasn't thoughtful enough to really do what they truly deep down inside wanted it to do, but didn't admit. So what do you want from your book? Do you want to publish it? Do you want this book to expand your business and open new doors? Do you want it to establish your authority and elevate your credibility? Do you want it to transform lives, create real change? Or maybe you want to leave behind something that lasts, a legacy. This quest asks you to define what success actually looks like for you. Not vaguely, not someday, specifically now for you. Because goals provide direction. They give you focus and they help you measure progress. And that leads to faster and better writing, which in turn builds confidence. So let's align your book with your life, your work, and your legacy. The treasure map of intent ensures that your book will serve both you and your readers. This is the purpose of this quest. Let's jump into the bad guys, because every quest that we have names the obstacles clearly. We don't pretend they don't exist. We don't go, oh, you're having trouble writing, just sit down, same time every day and write. No, we don't pretend we do not pretend they do not exist. There's a double negative for you. We acknowledge them. In this quest, we have two villains that are going to step forward. First, fog of confusion. The fog of confusion casts a haze. You sit down to write, and everything feels equally important and equally unclear. You ask yourself, Why am I even writing this? And no solid answer comes. Motivation quietly drains away. We have a video on that. Link is below. And the second villain is the shiny object siren. This siren loves to distract you with new ideas. She whispers things like, start a different book, or that one's better. She tempts you to abandon your current project in favor of something newer, shinier, or supposedly more marketable. We have a video on that. The link is below. We name these bad guys because once you can see them, you can plan around them, you can defeat them. Clarity defeats the fog. Commitment defeats the siren. If you're struggling with either or both, I encourage you to check out the videos below and crush them now. Next, we're going to talk about the action steps because our quests always have action steps. So just like every quest, here are your action steps. Step 1 is usually to watch the training. Not always, but we often have some kind of training. But we're not going to say, go watch the training. We're going to do some of that training here and now. So setting goals is not busy work. It's how you build your compass before you even enter the forest. Without defining your goals, you drift because you don't know what you're steering toward. You don't know where you're going. And then when you don't know what you're steering towards, the fog wins. So let's make this practical. When you define goals for your book, 5 things that happen immediately. First, you gain direction. Your book stops being about everything and you start moving towards something very specific. You gain momentum. This is incredibly important. How many times have I seen momentum die halfway through a book or even less? When you know what success looks like, it becomes easier to decide what belongs, what doesn't belong, what to keep, what to throw out. Third, you gain resilience. When writing gets hard, and I promise you it will, your goals remind you why this matters. They keep you on track and they keep you writing. Fourth, you gain strategy. Instead of hoping your book does well, you can now design it. You can design how it will function in your life. You can create it for success. And fifth, you gain confidence because you're no longer guessing. You are building intentionally. This is not theory. This is armor. Now, in the planning realm, we divide your goals into 4 territories: life goals, personal goals, professional goals, and legacy goals. Think of them as the 4 corners of your map. Let's start with life goals. Sometimes writing a book is not about the money or the marketing. Sometimes it's about fulfillment. Maybe this book has lived in you for years. We talked about that earlier and how people like that just kind of jump in. So we're not going to do that. We're going to write that down as a goal. We're going to say it out loud. We're going to name it. Maybe it's about expression. Maybe you're looking for ways to express yourself. Or maybe it's about proving to yourself that you can finish something this significant. Writing a book stretches you. It builds discipline. It builds resilience. Like it or not, it forces growth. For some of you, the life goal is simple and powerful. I want to become someone who has finished writing and published a book. That matters. Let's look at your personal goals. This territory is often overlooked. Writing a book changes you, changes how you're thinking. It provides clarity. It develops your voice. And you may uncover parts of yourself you didn't know were there. Or you might land up processing experiences. Or you may heal something quietly while shaping your message. Finishing a book is not just about public achievement. It is about private transformation. Name that. Okay, let's move on to professional goals. This is the one that everyone just kind of like, this is the obvious. This is what I want to do. So what I want to tell you about that is this is strategic territory. If your book connects to a business, authority, industry, or we need precision here. A book can position you as a credible voice. It can open doors to speaking engagements. It can attract aligned clients. It can strengthen your brand. It can create intellectual property that generates revenue. But none of that happens by accident. If you want your book to expand your influence, grow your revenue, and or open new opportunities, you must design it that way. Ask yourself, how exactly will this book function in my professional world? And don't be vague, be specific. Will it generate leads? Will it support a course that you're developing? Will it create speaking invitations so you get on more stages? Will it anchor your expertise in a particular niche? And depending on these goals, the content might be different. I had a friend who knows what I do came to me and said, I've been trying to think about writing a book and I had this idea and I threw it into AI and AI came out and said, well, if you want this goal in your business, this is the content. If you want that goal. Okay, for once, AI is not wrong. So this is where your book shifts from project to asset. Okay, finally, let's talk about legacy goals. A book outlives you. It carries your ideas forward. It preserves your stories. It contributes to conversations after you've stepped out of the room. Maybe your goal is to pass on knowledge. Maybe it's to shape a field within your industry. Or maybe it's to document the truth that you do not want to get lost. Sometimes legacy is public and far reaching. For example, you may want to influence thousands of people in how they think, how they heal, how they lead, or how they build. Sometimes legacy is simple. I want my children to hold this in their hands one day. That's powerful. So let's get specific. Now, here's where the quest sharpens. Do not say, I want my business to grow my book. Say, I will use this business as a lead magnet after keynote talks and connect it to my email funnel. Do not say, I want credibility. Say, I want this book to establish me as a specialist in X so that I can pursue Y. Specific goals defeat vague disappointment because vague goals create vague results. And vague results feed the fog. So this is why the treasure map of intent comes first. Before you start writing, before you create structure, before you make publishing decisions, we define the destination. Because when you know where you're going, you walk differently. So step one was listening to the training. Done that. Step two, it's use the clarity scroll to help you think about your book and journal your answers. If you don't have the clarity scroll, that's okay. Links there. You can download it. And the clarity scroll is this big set of questions for all the quests. So you don't need to answer all of them. Answer the ones that make sense to you and let them help you think about your book. Step three, use the goal setting worksheet, download it along with your clarity scroll, same link, to write out your life goals, your personal goals, your professional goals, and your legacy goals. All right, power up mode. Some of our quests have a power up mode. A power up mode is for people who want to move past a quest quickly. So if you're feeling short on time, use the power up mode. The treasure of intense power up mode is this. Use the goal setting worksheet in sprint mode. Set a timer for 5 minutes and brainstorm as many possible goals in each category as you can. Because in the end, done is better than perfect. Knock that perfectionism right out of there. All right, optional step number 4. If you like, you can use the author roadmap page 1. This is a beautiful one-pager where you get to put all your goals together and carry them forward into the other quests. It's a succinct place to keep your progress and your thoughts to replace the messy workshops. Workshops? To replace the messy worksheets, if that speaks to you. Maybe that was a Freudian slip. Maybe I think my workshops are messy. Okay. It's a succinct place to keep progress of your thoughts, keep track of your progress and your thoughts to replace the messy worksheets if that speaks to you. Some of us thrive in chaos, some of us love order. Both work here. So, your power ups, as you might already know, include your clarity scroll, your goal setting worksheet, and your optional author roadmap. These power ups are your support tools. Think of them like power tools if you like to build things. Instead of using a screwdriver, use a drill. It's faster, it's more powerful, gets the job done faster. You feel good about it. So, who are your allies? No quest is meant to be completed alone. So, you can reach out to your coach who will guide you through the fog. That's me. You can have an accountability buddy to help you stay steady when the siren calls. You can gather in our weekly guild meetings where wins are celebrated, struggles are supported, and coaching is available whenever you need guidance. Allies keep you anchored, they remind you of why you began, they help you keep going, and they celebrate your wins with you. And of course, every quest ends with rewards. You have unlocked skills. When you complete the treasure map of intent, you gain clarity vision. You can now define what success looks like for you and your book. You gain goal mapping. You can translate these big dreams that were somewhat vague into a concrete life, personal, professional, and legacy goals. And perhaps most importantly, you gain steadiness. Because once you know what your book is meant to do, you stop drifting. You write with intention. I also encourage you to reward yourself. Do something that brings you joy and feels celebratory. All right, if you're wondering where it begins here. Ask yourself one question. What do I want this book to do for me? Answer it honestly, write it down, refine it, and anchor it. Then step into quest number one, treasure map of intent. Books with intent create impact. Books without wander. Next week, we will continue building from this foundation. You don't need pressure, you need direction, and this is where you can claim it. I'll see you inside the planning realm.